Parshas Pinchas, bottom of Ayin Hay. Pasuk says, Savas b'nei Yosef v'amart aleim, command the Yidden and tell them, it's karbani lachmi l'ishai, my karbanis for my burnt offerings. V'amart aleim, and you tell them, thou isha shetakriv l'Hashem. Right? Basically, we say this every day, twice a day in davening. So he said, v'amart beis pamim. The pasuk starts saying like this, Savas b'nei Yosef v'amart aleim, v'amarta, and then right away it says, Karbani lachmi l'ishai v'amarta lohem. Again, v'amarta lohem. Why does it say twice v'amarta? So he says, Hinei kol ha-mitzvah sarach adam l'kaim machshava dibur ha'maisa. Every mitzvah existed thought, meaning the kavan of the mitzvah, the speech and the action of the mitzvah. V'chein b'karbanis. The same thing in karbanis, machshav v'zu tefillah. Aveda Shabalev Shikanagad HaKarbanos. Machshava represents Tefillah Shabalev davening. The Torah says, Allah Avdei V'chol Avchem. The Gemara says, Eizo Aveda Shabalev Zu Tefillah. So Tefillah is basically in the heart, it's Machshava. Dibur the Talmud Torah, the Karbanis. Dibur is the speech, learning Torah of the Karbanis. Like the Gemara says, Kol ha'esek b'Torahs Eilah. Whoever learns the dinam of Eilah is like they brought the carbon Eilah. So he says by Karbanis you also have Machshava, means the davening, the learning the halachas, and the action of the mitzvah. The Rebbe explained many times when the Gemara says even though we don't have a Beis HaMikdash and we don't bring Karbanis, but there's a certain advantage of learning the laws of Eilah than actually bringing a carbon Eilah. If a person wanted to bring a carbon Eilah, number one, they had to be in the Beis HaMikdash. Number two, it had to be during the day. Number three, they were not allowed to be Tamei. The whole Aveda, right? But a guy at night in Chutz La'aretz, Tamei, learns the laws of the Eilah, is like he brought an Eilah that you don't have when it comes to the actual bringing of the Eilah. So he says, Vinei v'amarta lahem zeho isha. Nemer ha'maisa karbana atzmi. When it says v'amarta lahem zeho isha, that refers to the action of the carbon. Upasik rishon, tzavez b'nei Yosef v'amarta aleihem, that goes on the machshava and dibur of the carbon. Now the Rebbe explained, by karbanis there's machshava dibur and maisa. She says the two psukim of Amartalem, the repetition, the first one represents Machshava and Dibur, and the second one represents Maisa. She says, Ubir, and you have to understand it, in Yitzhak Lahav, in Inyan, Reach Nechayach. To understand what it says by Karbanis Reach Nechayach Lashem, Perush, Chazal explained it to me. Nachas Roch Lefanai Shamarti V'Nasir Etzeni. What Reach Nechayach, what good smell is there? The Eibishter doesn't have a nose. I mean, it's not. So the Gemara says, Reach Nechayach means Nachas Ruach Lefanai. Ruach means the Nachas Ruach Lefanai Shamarti v'Nasir Etzeni. That he did. I told him to do it, and they did it. So basically, what's the concept Reach Nechayach by Karbanis? That the Hashem told the Yidden to do it, and they did the mitzvahs. So the Alter Rebbe asked, L'chayra shezeh shaykh b'chol ha-mitzvahs. That applies to every single mitzvah. Every mitzvah Hashem told us to put on tefillin, and we do it. Hashem told us to wear tzitzis, we do it. So why is this whole concept of Reach Nechayach mentioned only by Karbanis? It doesn't say by tefillin Reach Nechayach. It doesn't say by Shabbos Reach Nechayach. By Karbanis it says Reach Nechayach. Why is it the Aved of Karbanis can only be done in the Beis HaMikdash? Mashenk and Shara mitzvahs Tamatei Keneged Kulam, even Machshava Dibur of Karbanis, which is Tefillah, and Tamatei could also be when there's no Beis HaMikdash. So the Rebbe is asking, why Epis the Dafka Karbanis have to be done in the Beis HaMikdash? And not only Karbanis, only the action of Karbanis have to be done in the Beis HaMikdash. Machshava and Dibur, davening with instead of Karbanis, learning the dinam of Karbanis, it could be done outside the Beis HaMikdash. So he says, for number one, why is the concept of Nachas Ruach Fana Shamarti V'Nasir Etzeni only by Karbanis? not by any other mitzvah. And also, why is this concept of karbanis, the action of karbanis, why did they make it dafka in the Beis HaMikdash? It could have been done anywhere. Like before the Beis HaMikdash was built, they built bamais, they built platforms, and they brought karbanis. So he says, Achine calls a yuvim be'egdem, lahav mashakaz, what the pasuk says, ayem la'seisam. That the pasuk says, ayem la'seisam, you have to do them today, v'loy la'mocha la'seisam. You can't do it after we die. She'elam as a dafka oilam ha'maisa. Dafka, this world is called oilam ha'maisa, ubein it na b'chira b'yad ha'adam. And here, dafka, in this world, we have the choice, livcha b'tev, to do, choose good or not do good. In olam haba, there's no choice to do good or bad. Dafka, in this world, where you have a guf, nefesh habamis, and evil all over the place, we have the ability to choose. Not only that, even if a person did an aveda, dafka in this world can you do tshuva. But mashenk in olam haba, number one, ein ha-bechira choshes b'yad ha'adam. We don't have free choice in olam haba. It's only k'meshenim shech b'elam hazeh kach nish b'elam haba. The good and bad that we get in olam haba is only based on our actions in this world. There's no action up there. And secondly, why is it you can't do tshuva in olam? He's going to say you can't do tshuva in olam haba either. What's the advantage of this world that we say ayem la'seisam? Only in this world is the world of Maisa. Hagam shere shamgile alukus b'yaseh says, even though l'cha'ira in Eilam Haba, here he means Gan Eden, is a higher level of Elokus that you see Vishamu Bittul and Ivraim. Like it says, Tzvar Shemaim Nocha Mishtachavim, and he says, Afilu HaKlipa B'Sitracha, even the level of Klipa and Sitracha in Olam Haba is also the Bittul, the Kodol Elokaya. They call it the God of the God. Afal became, nevertheless, and Yochel Lishlei B'Nafshi. A person cannot control himself. Leitzia mimazger on meiser aguf. V'kochesa v'kochesa nefesh habam shnicha v'macharem le'ilmazah. Nevertheless, in olam haba, you can't do any tshuva. You can't bring out the good of the klipa by doing tshuva in olam haba.
There is no klipa.
There is klipa, he said, but klipa is in the level of bittul. Relatively speaking, in every level of Kedusha, there's Kedusha and Klipa. But over there, the Klipa is bottle. Like in the world of Teil, the Klipa is bottle.
People in Olam Haba are in touch with this Olam.
Do they know what's going on? Yeah.
They can affect it.
No, we can affect them. Well, they can put in a good word for us once in a while.
Can they come in somebody's dream? For sure. So people come in.
If you think about them during the day, you'll dream about them at night.
Rabbi, the purpose of klipa is to capture the light.
No, the purpose of klipa is that we should either elevate it, which is klipas nega, or subdue it, which is shosh satmeis.
When the light comes down, how do we hold the light? With the klipa,
No, Torah mitzvahs. Klipa itself, even klipas nega, before you do a mitzvah with it, there's no open kedusha in it. The purpose is that we take it and elevate it to kedusha. Or if it shows it's that we don't use it and we break the evil and we weaken the power of evil. For inyan kafakela, that's the level of kafakela. Shemakli mashlichen mapilanesim machshveis. It says one of the punishments of Olam Haba, there's chibat hakever and kafakela, and there's other stuff. But basically there's kafakela, chibat hakever, and then there's gehenim. So the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, there's for certain averis you need kafakela, certain averis you need chibat hakever. Chibat hakever literally, again, this is a spiritual concepts. Chibat hakever means they drag you through the grave, which is torture. Or kafakela is actually a slingshot. They throw the neshama back and forth. So he said like here, what is a kafakela? Shemekala mashtichin mapila neis machshveisa. One of the tortures in Gan Eden is that before you come to Gan Eden, is that they up there, when the neshama is out of the body already, and therefore it's not connected to Olam Hazeh in the coarse sense of that we have taivas, and they make you think all the thoughts that you had in this world. So for neshama up there to be forced to think the evil thoughts we had in this world, for a neshama out of the body, it's torture. That's an additional cleansing. Again, nothing's damnation, nothing's punishment. It's all a cleansing. In order for neshama to go into Gan Eden, it has to be clean. So sometimes, this Gashmiistic analogy that we learned, sometimes you put clothes into a washing machine, it gets cleansed. Sometimes if there's a stain, you have to, years ago they had a brettel, it was called, there was like a rough thing, and you used to rub the collars, or they still do it, by the way, the collars or the stains on to give it extra cleaning, and then they put it into the washing machine. So certain avedas that cling to neshama, Ganim is not going to cleanse it by itself. So you need to have the chibat hakeva, kafakela, for these various, and again, it's a torture for the neshama, but again, it's not physical torture. It's a torture, it's a cleansing process to clean and cleanse the neshama from this world. And he says, "Shanim v'shemetzleitz mimenu," that they give the person the thoughts that he felt in this world. In the shtusim, shemetzleitz mimenu marun lekida edanu emid beilam hazeh. They give the neshama, that's the punishment. They throw it back and forth, meaning the neshama in Gan Eden is thrown back to this world without the body, and it's thinking all those thoughts that it had in this world. So he said, and that's the torture for the neshama.
Saying Kaddish helps this process?
Kaddish, it says, helps primarily Gehenna.
Not kafakela.
I don't know, but Pashas says Gehenna. That's why, like he said, our custom is we say 16 Kaddishim a day. Because it says in the Zohar, Kaddish helps for an hour and a half. So if 16 times 1.5 is 24, so it saves the person for 24 hours again. That's why Shabbos there's less Kaddishim.
By the Yortzeit?
Yortzeit is also, that's to help the neshama go up to a higher level than before. So we learned already. Mikvah does two things. Mikvah makes a person who's tamei tahor, and then mikvah itself also adds kedusha. Like the Kohen Gadol went 5 times in Yom Kippur, it didn't become tamei in the middle. But what does a mikvah do? Mikvah not only takes off impurity, that's one thing of a mikvah, but in addition to that, it also adds kedusha. So Kaddish actually takes off Gehenna. But it also, on the Yortzeit, the neshama is not in Gehenna anymore. But on the Yortzeit, the neshama has a jump of an aliyah. It's always it's always going a little bit gradually up. But Yortzeit is to jump up. So to help the neshama go up, that's where Kaddish comes in. But it's a different concept of Kaddish than for the first year. Or the first 11 months, whatever. So he said, "Kini machshava dibur amaisa, shem gimel mini levushim keneda." The machshava dibur amaisa, thought, speech, and action, which are the 3 garments. Sheneslab shebeilam emelazeh, that the person dresses himself into an olam hazeh. Him nasim levush sak ubegodim tzayim. They become the thick sack and dirty garments, again spiritually. Like it says, it makes him filthy. So that's what happens. A person comes up there, so all the thought, speech, machshava, dibur, ma'aseh, the negative ones that a person had in this world are the garments of the neshama in Gan Eden. Now, in order for the neshama to get into Gan Eden, you got to get rid of all that dirt and filth. And a prisoner cannot free himself, meaning the neshama can't do it by himself. up there. In this world you could do tshuva, you get rid of it. Rabbi in Yesiru, Abganim Atzeirim, Yesiru Daika. Removing the big Ganim Atzeirim. So the Alter Rebbe is saying like this. Dafka in this world is Olam HaMaisa. Dafka in this world, you have Bechira and you could do tshuva. Up there is a greater level of Elokus, but that's it. You come up there, you're coming with your baggage from this world.
Receipts.
Huh?
Receipts.
No, that's I'm saying you come up with the baggage, the dirty, like the kids come home from camp with dirty laundry in their baggage. So we come up to the Gan Eden with the dirty laundry that we did in this world, and then it needs to be cleansed. Sometimes you put into the washing machine, i.e. Ganim, and sometimes you got to do additional stuff.
Wow.